So welcome to Get Your Hormones in Balance Part 2. I have with me Sandra DeRoche and also Grace McIntosh, founders of Selah Botanicals, a locally owned, women-owned business here in Ontario. And last week, we had an incredible talk on hormone disruptors. And we learned, or I learned, which was really surprising to me, that it doesn't matter if it's plastic that's thin, plastic that's thick. Definitely there's different levels of chemicals that come out of them, but whether it's heated or whether it's cold, whether it's by your skin or by your food, they all give off chemicals that are carcinogens and even the BPA-free ones. So as we reminded everybody, we don't want to be fanatics and, oh, I can't touch plastic, saran wrap, never, but really, really want to try to reduce your plastic load on your food. Use glass containers when you can, avoid plastic whenever you can, but we don't need to be fanatical, although some people have called me that, but we don't need to be totally fanatical about everything, but really do the best that you can, because there is a reason why cancer is on the rise and most people are having high estrogen issues. And so with that being said, I'm going to turn it right over to these two beautiful ladies that are going to share with you even more. And you will have to unmute for us, Sandra.
Hi, thanks so much. Sorry about that. Hello, and yes, I just want to say thank you, Carolyn, once again for giving us this opportunity to come and speak about, the endocrine disruptions. And now, last week, I was able to share my testimony a little bit and how, I was able to overcome all these symptoms that I was currently experiencing, and how we used certain products to help with that. I had also met with Carolyn through the Energy Shack, and I went through cleansing and juicing, which also helped my body to recover nicely, and I'm very grateful for that. But then I also was through my researching to find out how I could actually help my hormones balance. I came in contact with my dear friend Grace, who's was kind of experiencing the same things that I was. And, a lot of us as women, we do experience these things. And so I was able to speak to Grace about it. We were able to relate about it. And we talked about how we could help alleviate these symptoms through wild jam or through natural ingredients, botanical ingredients that can help us overcome these things. So without further ado, I'm going to let Grace just go in and introduce some of the products that we currently are using to help with these symptoms. Thanks.
Thank you, Sandra. It's such a pleasure to know you. She's so dear to me, and she's brilliant too. Anybody who needs financial planning as well, Sandra has decades of experience. And it's such an honor to know Carolyn. She has helped me as well. I've been to her store. I wish it wasn't 2.5 hours away, but I appreciate you so much, Carolyn. And I will share my screen. I have a slide presentation. And the only thing is, I'm not really sure how to make it so that it doesn't look like this. So I'm really sorry.
So just at the very top, you'll see a little, it looks like a square. At the top left-hand corner, it looks like a square. Oh, you got it. There you are.
There we go. Okay. So just to recap, I just want to say that I'm really grateful to everybody here. And to recap last presentation, we went over endocrine disruptors, as Carolyn mentioned. And of course, endocrine disrupting chemicals are in our food, but they're also in plastics, as Carolyn mentioned. And there was a study, and they've known this for a while, that you are not safe, right? The endocrine disruptors are in everything, and they cause cancers, other autoimmune illnesses, such as ones that affect our nerves and muscles. They contribute to Alzheimer's, and of course they disrupt the thyroid and the sex hormones such as estrogen, testosterone, and progesterone. And so this is a study that was done in 2023 with respect to endocrine disrupting chemicals and cosmetics and personal care. It underscored the risk of endometriosis. And I had a test done in 2019, I think, and they indicated that I was estrogen dominant and that I had a very thick lining, and in my endometrial lining was too thick, and it was either precancerous or cancerous. But I just had my work done, and my estrogen and progesterone are fairly balanced, and my estrogen is low. It's still in normal range, but it's on the low end. So it's impossible that I'm going to have some kind of estrogen driven or estrogen dominant condition. And I really am grateful for the knowledge that I have. So this talks about endocrine disruptors, and you just need to know endocrine disruptors are molecules that are capable of mimicking our natural hormones in the body. And by that, they interfere. And the way they mimic is you have your cell, and outside your cell, you have a receptor for estrogen and you have a receptor for progesterone. And if you need estrogen or progesterone, your body makes it, and it goes and it sits in that receptor in the cell, outside the cell, and it's pulled inside. So if you are exposed to xenoestrogens or estrogens in our makeup or personal care products, those xenoestrogens, they're just the right size to go and sit in those receptors. And then that's what gets pulled into your cell. And it also stops your own system from making your estrogen and progesterone. It's very dangerous. And so there are a lot of issues that come from not having proper balance of our own hormones, such as heart disease, arthritis, frozen shoulder, anxiety, not being able to sleep, and cancers, as well as I think it's a really horrible statistic now. I was just listening to something. I don't have the data for you, but polycystic ovarian syndrome is on the rise. Something like 26% of all females have that. Just think that means 2 out of 10 people at least. And autism is on the rise in California, and just in 20 decades, they have not changed the test, the parameters, how you get on the spectrum. In California, 1 out of 36 children have autism, and that is just staggering. And we have to understand that there are many things that are contributing to this, as well as lifestyle, but these endocrine disruptors are part of what I call as a critical mass in a health crisis with respect to chronic illness. We have to understand that 2 generations ago, the turn of the 20th century, chronic illness made up less than 10% of all illness. Now it is making up staggering percentages of our illness. Chronic illness, it means you'll always have a physician, and your primary care physician is not sufficient. You have your primary care physician, you get diagnosed with these other conditions, and now you have all these specialists involved in our lives. And endocrine disruptors are one of the guilty parties. They're contributing to this. So cosmetic products are one source of endocrine disruptors. They include an extensive variety of personal care and beauty products designed for skin, hair, makeup, for personal hygiene. All right. And so I want to caution everybody here to think when you're purchasing for yourself. So some of the uses would listed here: baby products for your eyes, skincare, lips, hygiene, deodorants, antiperspirants, hair, nails, mouth shaving, etc., hair removal, skin lightening, feminine hygiene. Okay, and then the products: the talcum powder, the shampoo, the eyebrow, the pen, deodorants, antiperspirants, hair dye, on and on it goes. You can take a picture of the screen, or I think Carolyn will have it up later. But the World Health Organization defines an endocrine disrupting chemical as an exogenous substance or a mixture of substances, which just basically means it's something that you can eat or put on yourself that alters one or more functions of the endocrine system and consequently cause adverse effects on the health of an intact organism or its progeny, on us. Okay, you can be exposed to an endocrine disruptor through ingestion, inhalation, or topical through your skin. And they're in lipsticks, fragrances, hairsprays, body creams, facial products, cleaning, polish, etc. And you have to understand that they're in the preservatives, and they're mostly, let me just see here. Okay, so this is the last slide that I have. I was looking for another slide for us just before we started, but so basically, almost all the preservatives have a shadow over them. They've been approved by the governments because you have to have a license to have them. You have to have a registration number to have these preservatives in your product. But the issue is they all have a shadow over them with respect to carcinogenic effect, and they have a shadow over them with respect to endocrine disruption. That's almost all the preservatives that are chemical. And there are some eco preservatives that have sort of got the green light or the magic wand, but there is an issue with them in the products. They don't really work. Your product can go moldy before, even a month, worse than if you didn't put a preservative in them. These eco approved preservatives, and they're very finicky. If you have, like, let's say you have a product that's acidic, so maybe you want something that has a lot of vitamin C in it. So it's very good for your exfoliating your skin, or it's very good for acne, that kind of thing. These preservatives don't work in acidic formulas. And the reason that we know is because we've tested them. And also they usually have a disclaimer on them saying it doesn't work with all pH. So there are some preservatives that are chemicals that may be usable, but then you're dealing with like a fungus possibly in your cream, and then you're exposed to possibly getting skin fungus. So preservatives. The other thing that is very guilty of being endocrine disruptors are the emulsifiers. So the emulsifiers are the reason that we ladies can have greaseless creams. So an emulsifier is something that will allow you to make a cream out of water, basically. You can make a cream out of yogurt, milk, goat milk, coconut milk. Anyway, these emulsifiers are what allows you to have mostly water and a little bit of oil, and then you have a nice greaseless cream. But we pay the price for that. And these emulsifiers go by names like sterile alcohols, emulsifying wax NF, which it means National Formulary. That's all the NF stands for. And other emulsifiers, or they're also substances that make your cream fluffy or feel nice on your skin. They're all made with ethylene oxide. They all have a shadow over them with respect to being endocrine disruptors. And unfortunately, they're in almost every product that we use that's on the shelf in Shoppers Drug Mart, even something as simple as a Nivea cream. Also, but it has a shadow over it with respect to endocrine disruptor or carcinogen as our petroleum products. And some of the most popular creams are effective because they have a petroleum product in them. A petroleum is much like hyaluronic acid or some of these other topical applications that they create a barrier on your skin with respect to hydration. And so they keep the hydration in. That's why Nivea works. It's mostly petroleum product. And they keep your hydration in your skin. That's why it feels plump and much better when you use it. However, we are risking that we are taking directly on our skin. It comprises a large portion of our body weight, and it's the largest organ of our body. And if we're putting something on topically and it is small enough to go through small enough molecules to go through the dermal layer of the skin, it goes straight into your body. So that is part of the danger. And now I'm going to just speak. Sorry, I just need to, I'm going to go through this. I just want to say, I spent so much time talking about the endocrine disruptors. I just want to say that we offer hormone balancing creams, such as wild yam and chasteberry. And I can go through this some other time when we have time, but the wild yam has diosgenin in it, and it will mimic estrogen in your body because your ovaries produce your own estrogen because of the wild yam. The chasteberry is also many studies. They've known this for decades. It helps your ovaries to produce progesterone. They do this by stimulating the pituitary gland, which is right next to the thyroid. And when you brighten the pituitary gland, your thyroid starts to work better, and you really need your thyroid. And so the chasteberry, the wild yam, very important. Black seed oil is also very important for it actually helps with weight loss, with menopause. So we sort of hang on to our weight, and the effect that it has had in the studies is that it protects us by improving our fat profile and our blood glucose, or our sugar. So we have black seed oil that is also in our wild yam. We also use comfrey, and comfrey, of course, is used for healing. It has allantoin in it, which is used for wound healing and dermatitis, radiation, burns. We offer calendula and neroli. Neroli is anti-carcinogenic, anti-inflammatory. Calendula is, over time, over decades, it is used to protect and heal dermatitis, which is basically burns from radiation. Very powerful. It is known for eliciting collagen production and new skin. So I'm sort of rushing through this. We also use aloe vera in our calendula cream. It has allantoin in it as well, and it may be pronounced allantoin, but I say allantoin. And I have the medical research to back up everything. We offer an Epsom salt cream, and Epsom salt has been studied whether it is effective in a topical application or transdermal. It is very effective. It helps to relax the muscles. It helps to soothe tired muscles and skin. We offer calcium chlorinate with it, which helps the magnesium go into your skin. With that, we have beeswax. Propolis has been studied. It's very healing. Pure propolis on an extraction, a tooth extraction, will make dentin, which is the pulp inside your tooth, grow again. And the aloe vera helps with the enamel growing. So it's a very effective a topical application for soothing, for any skin condition, for tired muscles, for restless legs, not being able to sleep at night. And in there, we offer an Epsom salt with cayenne in it. Cayenne is, and so it creates sort of an icy hot, so you can feel the effect, and you can put a warm towel on that you under hot water. You just put it where you put the cream on, and it will push that into your muscles. And we use as a solvent for the magnesium sulfate, which is the Epsom salt, helichrysum, which is called a liquid band-aid. It's so good for your skin, and it is so good for your immune system. And I'm sorry I'm sort of rushing through this, but the last product we have is Frankincense Plus, and it is for headaches. And it works with any headache that is caused by stress settling into your shoulders or your neck. So the wintergreen is a plant-based salicylic acid, which is aspirin. So it helps immediately. It's an analgesic. It's for pain. Frankincense is also known to have a healing effect for muscle issues, and just the scent of it itself is very soothing. Eucalyptus also is it creates the icy, it cools the muscle, has a cooling effect, relaxes the muscles. And peppermint and clove, rosemary, and grapeseed oil, and these have been tested, and they were anecdotal at first, and now there's data really that's very effective. It's a roller, and you do what's called a headache halo. So you put the product here and here on your temples and on the back of your neck. And if you're sensitive to the wintergreen and peppermint right by your eyes, you can just roll it across your neck and on your shoulders, wherever it is that you're having that really tight muscles from the headache. And I wanted to talk to you about, as fast as I can, my peony and licorice. It's for polycystic ovarian syndrome. Every compound and ingredient in this cream is a dihydrotestosterone blocker, a DHT blocker. When we get old, whether we're men or women, we either create more testosterone or we develop a sensitivity to dihydrotestosterone. And when that happens, we will grow hair where we don't want it. I grow hair in my chin, here, just under here. And a lot of women suffer from that because these are dihydrotestosterone blockers. In the cream, if you put that right on your skin, it will destroy those follicles for the hair. And over time, several weeks, you will not have those hair follicles. They won't even grow back. They do come back thin, and then they are gone. You do have to keep using it, because as soon as you stop blocking the DHT, which is the dihydrotestosterone, the hair comes back. And there is an ingredient in this called formic acid. The formic acid, there are no restrictions on that in Canada whatsoever. It is considered a natural, with no side effects, preservative, but it has a sort of interesting smell to it. It doesn't affect, the amount doesn't affect this, but so interestingly enough, DHT is the same reason that you lose hair on your head. So you get thinning hair on your head, but you're getting hair on your chin. So if you put it on your head, it will help your hair to grow, because a DHT blocker, which is on your head, on your scalp, it squeezes your hair out, it thins your hair. On our chins and our arms, for PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, we grow it on our tummies, maybe, and these things. Over time, you will lose that. And it's skullcap, prickly pear, saw palmetto. This actually is the formula. This is just a study on dihydrotestosterone and blockers topically, why they are effective. But we don't have time to do it. That same formula, we call it saw palmetto plus for men. DHT blockers shrink the prostate. They're for benign hyperplasia prostate. And they also are preventative or protective or supportive for making sure you don't get prostate cancer. And if you have it, prostate cancer, it supports that. The same formula, but we call it Saw Palmetto Plus. Anyway, that is a very quick. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight.
Yes, and she is rushing because they actually have another seminar at 8 o'clock. So I know that you guys have to leave, and that's okay. I'm going to do part 2 of this, and I feel somewhat equipped to be able to answer some questions. So Grace and Sandra, I know you have to go. Audience, you're still in for some extremely good information, so stay with us. If anybody does have questions, please just throw it in the chat. I want to talk to you about a little bit more detail about your about hormone disruptors as well, and endocrine systems from me as a nutritionist. So this is really important for those who are with us. Grace, Sandra, you guys are good. Anything else? No, you're good. All right. So all right, we'll see you. So as far as your hormones go, just giving a little refresher, and I'm going to go into some new information, some really, really good information. And don't forget, for those that are just joining us, we've got 2 free tickets to our cooking class and 1 free consultation to give out at the end. But basically, your hormones are required for all the correct development in animals. We're part of the animal kingdom, plants, fungi, but they are your signaling molecules. They are the communication messengers sent to distant organs, tissues, and they have a very, through a very complex biological process, they help to regulate the physiology of your body, but also your behavior. So how your body actually functions and how you actually behave is all regulated by your hormones. So very interesting. So this is just men, women, different hormones that we have, which is important to know. We are slightly different animals, that's for sure. So your endocrine system is really amazing. All animals, including us, because we are part of the animal kingdom, and plant life, manufacture their own hormones. I need that to stay with you. So if you could put in the chat, does your body make its own hormones? Yes or no? Do you need to have certain foods that give you hormones? Correct. Yes, 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 yes. Your body makes its own hormones. And little communications go an extremely long way. So that is also very important for us to know, is that your body, it doesn't take much to send a message. However, your blood system is the avenue in which hormones communicate. If you have thick, congested blood, friends, you will have very slow communication. If you have really good, wonderful blood that the viscosity is perfect, it's got the right levels of water and hydration in it, your communications can happen very quickly. But there are certain endocrine disruptors that we may not realize are actually extremely harmful, because remember that a little bit just goes a long way. So we talked last week just about diseases relating to hormone balances. So I'm not going to go over these slides in detail. And also some symptoms, which you can read on the screen, that, you know, not being able to tolerate hot and cold temperatures. You'll see the changes in your hair, skin, and nails. You could have unexplained weight gain or weight loss, growths, diabetes, high blood pressure, even high cholesterol. These are all common causes of hormone imbalances. So let's just understand what some disruptors are. So we talked last week I was like Grace last week. I wanted to give her lots of time. And so I rushed through these slides, but I really wanted to unpack with you today so you understand why I said no caffeine. And caffeine, friends, is not just coffee. It's in your black tea, your green tea, your white tea, your coffee, and yes, ladies, brace for impact, it's in your chocolate. So the darker the chocolate, listen, don't believe the hype. Whenever the world is telling you to do something, whenever you see something on social media that everybody is saying to do it, go in the other direction. The darker the chocolate, yes, it has more flavonoids. Yes, it has more antioxidants, but guess what? It also has more of caffeine. The darker the chocolate, the higher the caffeine. So you actually want to avoid chocolate, but if you are going to have some, white chocolate probably has the least amount of caffeine, milk chocolate, but you know, now we're dealing with a lot of dairy, and that's going to be on the next slide. But here's the thing about caffeine. Why am I so adamant about no caffeine, zero? Because adenosine receptors are hijacked when you have caffeine. Even a tiny little bit, your adenosine receptors are hijacked. So adenosine is an inhibitory neurotransmitter. And what happens is that it acts as a central nervous system depressant. It promotes sleep, so it helps you to go to sleep. Adenosine, not caffeine, adenosine. Let's talk about this hormone adenosine, okay? Adenosine helps you to go to sleep, and it also helps to give you regulated energy throughout the day. It's so incredible that your body knows through its homeostasis and circadian rhythm when you're supposed to go to sleep, because your body follows the rhythm of the atmosphere. So as the sun begins to set, adenosine uses it as a central nervous system depressant, and it helps you shut down and go to sleep. We thought melatonin was the only reason that we go to sleep. No, you need adenosine. And then in the morning, your adenosine begins to actually cause an arousal. This is also important for sexual function. Adenosine helps to naturally decrease the heart rate when emotions are rising and you're getting frustrated or you're anxious or stressed. Your body knows that, and adenosine will come out to calm your heart down. It's like your best friend. It's like your this loving parent, helps you go to sleep, helps you get on with your day, calms you down. It's like your bestest friend. It also helps to prevent coagulation in your blood. So adenosine is there to make sure that your blood doesn't get too thick as well. Helps you with your kidney function. It also helps with glucose metabolism so that you can actually get rid of the glucose quicker in your body. So here's the thing, friends, is that when we have caffeine, even half a cup of coffee, even an ounce, they hijack your adenosine receptors. So that means, of course, you have adenosine receptors all over your body, in fact, mostly on your skeletal muscle. The liver has some, many of your tissues have it, your adipose tissues. So some of your adenosine, I mean, God didn't give you extra because, you don't need that many. You need all of those receptors. And one cup of coffee can hijack many of them. One cup, okay? So when your adenosine receptors get hijacked, now that's why you can't shut down and sleep. Can you imagine one cup of coffee too close to bed and it's trouble sleeping, period. Some people don't have that effect, but many people do. And that's why one cup of coffee will make you, pick you up, because it's a fake. It's a false. Unfortunately, once that hijack wears off, your body won't produce it for at least 24 hours, but mostly the full production is 48. So you may think, oh, I'm just hijacking them. It's just one cup, it'll wear out. No, your body doesn't. Once the coffee wears off in a couple hours, your body doesn't just start producing adenosine. It waits for another 48 hours. before it's going to produce that hormone. So during that time, you can have anxiety, and there's no, the adenosine, there's just not enough production of this adenosine to talk you off the cliff and calm your heart rate down, to put you to sleep, to give you energy through the day. So you think the next day, because those productions aren't happening, you think the next day that I need a cup of coffee because I just can't get started this morning. Oh, when I have my coffee, now I can start. Your body does that all by itself. You don't need the caffeine, but you shut it off because you're having your caffeine every day. Does that make sense? And I want to tell you something. If you have anxiety, caffeine is like your kryptonite. It makes you so racy. It doesn't put the brakes on for calmed emotions. And if that's already part of your DNA, caffeine, it just excites, accelerates, and exaggerates your already anxious spirit. So it's a drug, and I don't think anybody is going to or should. I don't think it should be legal anywhere. Coffee is great. God created coffee. It's good for enemas. It's good for outside of the skin, but it's really not good to be consumed. So I want you guys to put in the chat, if you really heard me and understand, don't do drugs. No coffee. Okay, this is serious. This is serious. And you think I'm playing, you think, it's okay. It's just 1 cup, Carolyn. All right, so don't do drugs, friends. Alcohol's a drug. Alcohol's a real drug. So we talked about that last week, but what if I just want 1 glass of wine with my dinner? What is that a big deal? There's all this wine pairing stuff, and it's important. Well, 2 ounces of alcohol, friends. In males, alcohol is known. Men, are you listening to me? Decreased testosterone levels, decreased libido, and it causes erectile dysfunction. 2 ounces of alcohol will set you back for 3 days in all those categories. It's real. For women, it increases testosterone. Does the exact opposite because it's lowering your estrogen levels. And you will have overconsumption of alcohol will make you completely miss your ovulation cycle, disrupts 2 ounces will disrupt your regular cycle, and it leads to infertility. So of course we know that because it's increasing estrogen, that leads to many forms of cancer, especially breast cancer. But estrogen and too much estrogen is linked to cysts and fibroids, even endometriosis. So alcohol also impairs the body's ability to produce insulin. So you get great insulin sensitivity. You're not able to produce enough insulin, and guess what? Glucose takes over without Mr. Insulin hormone to regulate the absorption of glucose into your body, and your blood is checked and you have diabetes. So, and never mind the sugar that's in some alcohols, but even if you're having an alcohol like vodka that has no sugar in it, you're still creating an endocrine disruptor. And it can take 1 to 3 months. Can you imagine? After having alcohol. So this test was done where someone had drank alcohol for almost a full month. It wasn't a full month. It took 1 to 3 months to actually get the hormones back into balance. Yeah. So alcohol is real. And I want to tell you, some people are like, oh, no, I don't touch alcohol. Do you have vinegar? Because vinegar is wine fermented. And vinegar is having effects on your liver the exact same way alcohol does. So that's very real. So you may not be having alcohol, but if you consume vinegar, and yes, friends, apple cider vinegar will do the same thing. There's a reason why it's called apple cider, red wine vinegar, white wine vinegar. Yeah, are those sounding like familiar names? Because they're from alcohol. They're made from alcohol. It's actually alcohol fermented. So you're having almost double the negative effect of fermentation in the liver. It's terrible. So for those who are not entertaining me, I'd like you to try to entertain me and just put in the chat again, don't do drugs. This is not a drug, but let me tell you, dairy products. How much time do we have? Less than 15 minutes. I want to tell you something. Thank you, Sarah. Here's the thing about dairy products and why they're endocrine disruptors. I want you to think in your mind. Someone tell me in the chat, where do dairy products come from specifically? Where do dairy products come from? Anybody know? Sure you know. That's right, a cow's udder. And it comes from an animal, it comes from a cow, from the udder of the cow. And what is this cow's milk supposed to be for originally? What is it? And why does the cow produce its milk? Right, it's supposed to be for a baby cow. So there's lots of prolactin in it. There's prostaglandins, there's steroids, there's steroid hormones in it, there's IGF, insulin-like growth factors, a lot of them, okay? Because it's breast milk for a baby cow. So it's very, very important for us to know that prolactin is great. Guess what? I hope you had breast milk as a baby, but if not, your body does still produce some. But it's wonderful for babies because all of these hormones help to stimulate growth, help to build muscles, help to build tissues, help to strengthen bones. So these are very, very, very important. But the breast milk, whether it's a female or whether it's a cow, these hormones are extremely present in high quantities inside dairy products. And so the problem, I just want you to think about this. So prolactin helps to promote the growth of tissues in the breast, in the mammary glands. So this is important because, of course, if you are, this is an important growth for females so that they can increase their breast size. But think about if your body produces its own. You received it as a baby, your body produces its own. If your body produces its own prolactin to help grow your breasts and help your breast tissues form, your body will get rid of old breast tissues. Your body does that all the time, gets rid of tissues in your body, and the prolactin helps to grow them. What happens when you have dairy products that has more prolactin in them? So now we can get cysts. Now we can get breast cancer because it's promoting too much tissue growth in the breast. And unfortunately, prolactin and excess of prolactin in males will actually produce testosterone and reduce your sperm count. Doesn't matter if it's milk or cheese or yogurt, it doesn't matter. Even if it's the healthiest yogurt on the shelf, that's going to be the result of too much prolactin. So if you have too much IGF, that's going to be a problem because this helps promote the growth of bones and tissues, but your body already does that. And it also helps to maintain healthy blood sugar levels and metabolism. It also helps any changes in sexual function. So if you have too much IGF, now we're going to have problems with the growth of tissues, even the growth of bones. You are going to have very unnatural tissue growth. You will have trouble also with blood sugar regulation. Let's go to prostaglandins, which is a very interesting hormone. It's not actually, well, it is a hormone, but really it's a lipid, it's a fat. It's a fat that acts like a hormone. The thing about prostaglandins is that prostaglandins are there if you get an injury. So if you cut yourself or you hit your leg, prostaglandins are there to create lots of inflammation in the area take some water out of your blood and create a fluid cushion all around. So if I hit my knees, that's what would happen. So it's there to help to create a buffer and inflammation around an area that's injured. So it's like the protective guards that come on a crime scene. It's like they put up all the barriers so nobody gets in. It's not nice because the road's blocked off and it creates trouble for everyone else, but it's the only way to keep everything out so that the professionals can deal with the crime scene. Same thing with the body. Your body, once it gets injured, it has a lot of work to do. So it creates inflammation in the area, keep everything out. When you touch it, it's painful. So don't touch it. Don't abuse the leg. You can't go for a walk very much because we've got inflammation in the area. When you have dairy products, there's so much prostaglandins inside your dairy products that unfortunately it causes this inflammation unnecessarily over and over and over again. My clients that have arthritis, osteoporosis, but especially inflammation, almost always, if they're having dairy products, it's automatically, if you're having dairy products on any regular basis, especially cheese. People will say, oh, I don't drink any milk, but I have cheese. Well, cheese is this much milk because it's concentrated. It's so dangerous, but it creates this overproduction. It's not even an overproduction of your prostaglandins. That's not the problem. Your body knows how much of this lipid, hormone acting lipid it needs. You just add to it and it doesn't know what else to do with it, except, I guess you're here to fight, go fight. It has no control over these hormones because you've added them into your body. And so your body those will just go and attack areas that are compromised and make them worse and worse and worse. And when your system realizes there's too much after a while, it starts to try to get rid of them because they actually live and die on a short level. But that's not your first day of eating cheese. You probably are going to do it again tomorrow, or you'll have a yogurt, or you're going to have ice cream. You're going to have some kind of dairy product. So it's actually extremely dangerous. And then lastly, we have the steroid hormones. So the steroid hormones are wonderful. Do you know that medicine today is just a mimic of natural herbs and natural hormones that you produce? That's what medicine is. But they do it on an extremely concentrated level. Your glucocorticoids are there because these are incredible hormones that you produce all by yourself. These reduce inflammation. They help with they help to absorb calcium into your bones. They also heal your stomach lining and buffer your stomach lining from any dangerous cortisol dumps so that you don't get ulcers. They help strengthen your immune system. I mean, these steroid hormones also, of course, increase growth and help you naturally when you're younger with growth. But the problem is that your body produces enough. So you can go and look at what happens. These steroid hormones are sold in a bottle. If you have any kind of immune disorder, like autoimmune disease, rheumatoid arthritis, or lupus, or ulcerative colitis, where you need a steroid to help you, you can get this steroid in a bottle as a medication. And so it's taking, your body has this much, and it makes it this much. Because what happens is when they can put a lot in, it will reduce inflammation. It will help to stop that ulcer. But the unfortunate problem with that is that long-term effects suppress your immune system. When you have too much of them, your immune system gets suppressed. Your body it loses its ability to absorb calcium in the bones. It also creates high levels of triglycerides and cholesterol. It can lead to, some people have this fatty lump in their back between their two shoulder blades. That's almost always a dairy product problem unless they're on steroids. So it causes acne, it causes fatigue, and overconsumption of steroid hormones. And this is found in dairy products. So your body produces all the hormones, steroid hormones that it needs. When you add dairy products to it, it's got too much. It's like you're on this medication that is super dangerous for you. And unfortunately, it causes extremely bad side effects. So you may feel like, oh, milk just soothed my stomach. Yeah, that might have happened initially, but the after effects are so, so dangerous. So whether you're going to have weed, cigarettes, we talked about alcohol already, but they affect your hypothalamus and your pituitary glands. Those are like hormone homes. Like you don't want to affect those. Your hypothalamus, that's what gives your body stability. That's the air traffic controller sitting in that box, telling everything and everybody where to go, making sure they're keeping balance in the airways. Your hypothalamus gland helps with your homeostasis levels, making sure every level in your entire system is working in balance. As soon as you have weed, as soon as you have cigarettes, your hypothalamus is inhibited. So definitely it has that calming effect, but after that calming effect, the damage that's done is so dangerous. And of course, our pituitary glands are going to be trouble because, as we just heard from the ladies, from Grace and Sarah, but Grace was explaining that that's right by your thyroid. So if you have been smoking weed for any kind of length of time, you can easily end up with thyroid issues simply because how closely linked they are together. And your pituitary glands are also there to regulate your emotions, your happy feelings, your sad feelings. And so that's why the marijuana will make you feel calm for a period of time, but once it wears off, wow, the damage that it created is not worth it. I won't even say in my opinion, because I think most people, I'll say in my opinion, but I can't imagine that this kind of a situation of just like, a complete wreck of your hormones after even one stick of weed is such a big problem. So just in closing here, as we wrap up, and I'm happy to take any questions that you might have, just throw it in the chat. I just want you to know that you could say, I don't have dairy products, I never have alcohol, I've never smoked weed in my entire life. Hats off to you, friends. And maybe you don't drink caffeine either, but if you're stressing out, unfortunately, you have a very terrible imbalance of adrenaline and cortisol, and that overrides all of your body's system, because whenever we get stressed out, your body releases stored glucose so that you could fight the bear that just jumped in the room, except the bear was not a bear. It was like your boss, or the paperwork you have to get done, or your child that's making you crazy, or your spouse that's like frustrating you again. So this cortisol release is really terrible because it pulls blood to your muscle tissues, and then all of your other organs are suffering. It also creates this hormone imbalance because there's too much cortisol release, and then your adrenals get fatigued because there's too much adrenaline coming out, and all of that cortisol gets dumped in your stomach, goes through your heart, your lungs, and then we have issues. That's why you have heart palpitations sometimes, or chest pain, or shortness of breath, or digestion issues because of all of this cortisol release. So you will also produce extra estrogen naturally every time stress is high. And too much estrogen in the system does lead to cancer, does lead to cysts, fibroids, troubles with prostate. That, friends, comes from stress. So I want to tell you that the best thing you can do for yourself is to eat as clean as possible and go to sleep. Hormones are balanced between 9 p.m. and 1 in the morning. If you are awake during those times, or if you have food in your stomach during those hours, even if you are sleeping, your body uses the energy to digest food rather than do its hormone balancing. So you really want to make sure that you are getting to bed by or before 10 p.m. In the winter, like 9 o'clock. In the summer, springtime, you can probably get away with a 10 o'clock. Because your body follows the rhythm of the environment and the sun sets at different times. But you want uninterrupted sleep. 7 hours has to be minimum for adults. It has to be. And if your kids are going to bed late, they need like 10 hours. Little kids under 4 years old need like 12 hours. So this, and if you have light flashing at your eyes, well, now you're messing up your pineal gland. That's a problem for hormones as well. So all of this is extremely, extremely important to really get yourself to bed, have a big breakfast, a good lunch, and a very light dinner. And if you need more help with that, I absolutely, you can am giving away a free consultation today, but I'm also offering it at a special if you need to talk to me. But this is the website if you want to get your wild yam cream or you want to get the peony cream or anything else, just take down that website and it's fantastic. I have my clients use it. I use their products myself, and they really make amazing handcrafted natural products that help with the hormone balance. But you can't take the cream and keep drinking your coffee and have that glass of wine for dinner and have cheese at lunch, friends. And before you go to bed, also smoke that weed. So the cream won't really help. And I'm not saying you have to make all your changes at once, but try to do your best to go on your journey with making one change at a time. And if you want to learn how to make more healthy meals, go on Eventbrite for just $10 on September 15th. We are showing amazing high protein plant-based breakfasts. Very wonderful. For your body's rhythm, you want a big breakfast, a good lunch, and you don't want dinner. Stop doing intermittent fasting the wrong way. Again, stop listening to everything on social media. Almost all of it is wrong, okay, including the news. So we are going to teach you at this class. You can go to Energy Shack Juice Bar, follow us on Eventbrite as well, and on Instagram, but September 15th, and I'm going to give away 2 tickets for our cooking class. And if you do want a nutritional consultation, and whether you want to come to one of our retreats or you just need information, you can scan this code. You can call or text me. I put gut health there because I stole this slide from Sunday's presentation, so you can still say gut health. I will know you've been here. But if you want to learn more about what we're doing, but today, instead of $110, if you can text me within the next 24 hours, you will get a $49 consultation. I'm going to pull a name from you guys to get you 1 free consultation, but I will do a full assessment of your health and then I will make some recommendations for you. Not a very good picture of Carolyn. And lastly, before I take any questions, if you need to come aside and rest a while, we are booking now at early bird discounts, $100 off. And actually, we just upped it to $185 off for 7-day retreats. We are going to take you to the Windermere House in Muskoka. We are going to feed you. We are going to train you, saunas, cold plunges, amazing walks in nature, the most incredible Energy Shack food. We're going to help restore your health, but we're also going to take you in the kitchen and teach you how to do this. We're going to show you, apply the natural remedies, but we're going to show you how to make them. So definitely be there for everything Energy Shack. And I'm going to throw in the chat our phone number again, so that if you do have any, you can get in touch with us. If you need to, you can call or text this number, 647-637-6755. You can say whatever you want. Book me a consultation, hormone disruptors, it doesn't matter. I will get your consultation going for you. So with that being said, I am pulling 2 names out of the hat for number 1, a consultation. And how many hours before sleep should be your evening meal? You're not going to like my answer, but I like 6 hours before. But studies will show 4 hours before if it's not a big meal. But to be honest, I want my clients to stop eating by 3 or 4 o'clock. And if you do the meals the way that we suggest, then you will not be hungry, but you should be stopping around 3 or 4 o'clock and getting to bed by 9, 10 o'clock the latest. So I like 6 hours, but it should be a minimum of 4 hours. If it's a small meal and it'll digest, like 1 apple would digest in 2 hours, but digestion slows down after 4 o'clock. So that's what is important. So if anybody has any questions, just throw them in the chat while I pick these names. So I have Alita, L-L-E-T-A, you, doesn't matter where you are in the world, you have won a free consultation. So we're very thrilled for you. And wonderful. So Alita, just take the number down or friends, info at Energy Shack Juice Bar. You can also email us directly, okay? Better you email because the store is actually closed until Sunday. So walk-in traffic is there because the bakery is open, but other than that, it's better you email. I'll respond to you a lot faster. We also have 2 free tickets to our cooking class. It's online and interactive, so you can join us from anywhere in the world. And the first name is, it's Lenalyn. She is a regular. She is actually at all our cooking classes. And so she gets a free one this time. Way to go, Lenalyn. And the other person that's also getting a free one, we're just pulling this randomly, is Miriam. So Miriam, you also have a ticket for a free cooking class. And so I am so glad to offer that to you. And friends, if you want to come to our cooking class, it's $10. I know we're in an economy situation, but it's worth your $10 investment. And if you need that consultation, just reach out to me by email within the next 24 hours. And I will get you that $49. Otherwise, it goes back to $110 for a full consultation. I don't see a lot of questions in the chat. I must have answered all of them. Do we have questions for? Nope, we don't have any questions for Alita. You have a question?
Yeah. Oh, hold on. The one about Activia.
Oh,
It's
I
for
don't see it.
no. You passed it.
I did. Activia.
I
You know
use
what? Maybe I closed. Okay, what was your question? I don't see it.
So I said I use Activia for probiotics. So from what you're saying, I'm not allowed to use that anymore.
No, you can do sauerkraut for probiotics, or you can get a probiotic, or if you do our program properly, and I'll be able to explain that to you in our consultation, your body produces its own probiotics. And if you eat more vegetables, you get natural prebiotics.
Okay.
So no, not the healthiest Greek yogurt or Activia or anything is good for you. I know that the world will not agree with me, but I'm telling you, I have proved it over and over and over again.
My problem though with natural foods, my food has to be cooked.
That's fine. We can talk about, we can definitely talk about it. Yeah, it's a good thing that we have a free consultation booked.
Okay. Okay.
So there is a couple questions for those that want to stay to just for a few answers. What do we think about plant-based kefir? Perfectly fine. Very expensive, but perfectly fine. And Lenalyn says the cooking classes are more than worth it. Really, honestly, guys, they're really fun. They're very interactive. You get the recipes, you cook along with us if you want, but you learn a lot in the couple hours that we're together, and you can do it from anywhere in the world. So with that being said, goodbye, family. Wonderful to have you. Next Thursday, the calcium and iron connection. How can we get calcium and iron properly? There's a major calcium and iron deficiency happening in the world. Why? And how can we fix it naturally? Join us next week.
Okay. Thank you.